Welcome to another episode of the Jon and Joe Show. I am Jon Schober, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Joey McGurr.
Hey, Jon, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Happy New Year.
Hey, thank you. Well, you know, it's like the middle of February here.
Yeah, well, we took a little time off.
Yeah. What do you think of this cool, music that we have going in the background?
I love it.
Yeah, you can't hear it because you don't have headphones on.
I don't. I can't hear it. But I'm going to hear it later when I listen to our show.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It has been.
We took a little... Was it a hiatus or a hiatus? what did we do?
Oh, man. I hope it was a hiatus. But, you know, we still saw each other quite frequently. But we did take a little break from the show because we just needed to take a little time after the new year and recalibrate. And here we are.
Yeah.
It's nice to stop every once in a while and take a step back and look at what you've done and say, is this really what I'm trying to create? And we did that, and I really appreciate that I've got a partner like you to work with, somebody that I can be honest with, and you can come back and say, that's exactly what I was thinking, even though we probably spent about a month not even communicating that. But we did, and I'm glad that we did, because I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope that other people get joy out of it too.
One of the things that came out of that conversation, well, two things. One, we enjoy doing this.
Yes.
And so I hope that our audience enjoys listening to us. But the other thing that we came to is we kind of thought that we had a tagline, and we kind of thought that it was a little bit limiting on us. So Tell us, what are we going to do? What are we changing?
We're basically going back to what our original premise was, the conversations prior to even beginning the recordings 6 months ago, whenever we started. It was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
When this whole thing started, it grew out of you and me getting together, talking about things we were interested in. We're interested in business. We're interested in marketing. We're interested in leadership. We're interested in things in the ministry. We actually met in the church, and so we talk about those kinds of things. You have a father who's a minister. You have a sister who's married to a minister.
Right.
I have a lot of that in my family as well, so we're involved in that world. But we're also men that are members of the community here in Austin, Texas.
Small business owners, entrepreneurs.
We both lead. You lead a master group, several. In fact, I lead several organizations. So we're leaders. We're so much more than what that limiting box was that we were putting ourselves into. So this is an opportunity for us to kind of start over fresh without starting over and just say, let's go back to what we really wanted to do and just talk about the things that Jon and Joe are interested in talking about.
And, you know, I think that this is something that everyone needs to go, because we're not starting over. This is an evolution. Everyone needs to kind of go through, what am I doing well? What stop, start, continue. Right. What are some things that I need to stop doing? What are some things that I need to start doing? And what are some things that I need to continue to do? So we want to continue doing the podcast. We're going to stop limiting ourselves to kind of business and ministry and really go to the core of this, which is the Jon and Joe Show. So what's going on with us? We're not trying to be boring, but there's a lot of interesting things that are out there, and so we're going to be comfortable with ourselves. So
I think there were a lot of things that we wanted to talk about that maybe we put aside. We shelved it because we didn't feel like it fit into the box that we'd created.
Right.
This allows us to talk about those things now. I kind of like to think of it as a second season, if you will. In fact, we might, at 14, 15 episodes down the road, we might stop, take a step back, and have a third season, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is episode 1, season 2.
I love it.
Hey, anyway, well, this morning, I don't know what
Good morning, good afternoon,
morning.
Good night.
But I want to talk, because one of the things I want to talk with you today is I have been seeing like a ton of stuff on LinkedIn from you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally...
Just in the last week, but yeah.
I mean, it has been the last week. So what are you doing on LinkedIn? Because, I mean, it really does seem like every 5 minutes I'm getting stuff on LinkedIn from you.
Okay, well, first of all, you're spending too much time on LinkedIn. I'm not posting stuff every 5 minutes. And really, I've been silently observing LinkedIn for a very long time. I actually teach to classes at UT, graduate classes at UT. I teach the students that are leaving how they can use LinkedIn to avoid losing potential good employment by putting things on there that aren't appropriate, but also by creating and crafting a profile that is appealing to recruiters and HR professionals. And so I've been spending a lot of time in that space already. And so lately, a lot of my friends, there was a thing called influencers about a year ago on LinkedIn where if you were a particular influencer, you had a lot of people that had clicked the button to follow you. If you were Mark Cuban, or you were Gary Vaynerchuk, if you were Ariana Huffington, you could go on there and post what looked like a full published blog post or full article, and it was disseminated out to all of your followers brilliantly. It was posted at the top of your news feed. It was pushed out to you through email. It even showed up in some cases as a notification. So if I'm clicking on my notifications to see what my friends are doing, there's my influencers and their amazing content there as well. Recently, LinkedIn has allowed just about anybody on LinkedIn to do the same exact thing. They've opened it up. It's wide open. And so a bunch of my friends that are content producers and great individuals who I enjoy reading their stuff, they're not necessarily an influencer of mine, but because I'm linked into them, I'm getting the Pulse email. By the way, Pulse is a company that LinkedIn bought for $90 million. It was a news aggregator, and now they're using that same technology to push out content from the users on LinkedIn to people that they're linked into, right? Their LinkedIn connections. And so I hesitate to say friends because that's not the right terminology.
They're connections.
People they're connected to.
Yeah.
So I decided just this last week that it's time I stop lurking and silently watching and push it out, see what happens. And I've been very pleased and impressed with the results that I can get from a very limited list of people just to kind of share my thoughts and ideas. Now, there's some things that you want to definitely have in mind when you're going there. You don't want to be too commercial. You don't want to go there and just pitch and sell your idea. It's really designed as a place to go and add value. It's really like you treat it like your blog.
Sure.
But the beautiful thing about it is if you have a blog and you've got your people who are on your email subscription list on your blog, but they're different than the people that you're connected to on LinkedIn, which in most cases they are. And it's very easy to send LinkedIn requests out to professionals that you meet at conferences around town, even at church. And so I now have another conduit to. So I'll give you an example. Last week, I wrote a blog. I put it on my corporate website. It went out and it went to the particular list of people that have already subscribed to receive that information. Good response over there and happy with the result. But I wanted to experiment with the LinkedIn publishing tool, which is very easy to use, by the way. You just go to your homepage, click the little pencil in the dialog box, and it'll create the little layout for you to.
That's one of the questions I have for you, and because you can post a link to your blog on Pace. Is that what you're doing, or are you actually creating a post inside of LinkedIn, and have you kind of experimented back and forth with those two things? So
when you post a link, so I actually did post the link to my company's LinkedIn page, which would be very similar to me posting it to my profile. And the link was embedded and a picture was brought up and the short description was laid out for me like LinkedIn does every time you post a link, whether it's from your site or any site on the web. And you can put in a little bit of context in the description area at the top and then publish it out. This piece of content shows up in the news feed.
Okay.
Right. If somebody goes to LinkedIn, the people that follow my company or like me on LinkedIn or connected with me on LinkedIn, that content, when I push it out, that link is going to show up in their news feed amongst the thousands of other things that people are pushing out that day. The other links, there are some people who never post on LinkedIn. There are people who post on LinkedIn 25 times a day, right?
Like you.
And I don't. I actually very, very seldom post on LinkedIn, but you have the impression that I have.
We'll talk about that because it has brought me brought you top of mind.
Right, which is another reason why I wanted to experiment with it. I wanted to know if that was the result I was going to get, and I'm very pleased to hear that I am. When you create a post like I've been doing, the last two that I've created, instead of posting a link or going in and saying something and just as a status update and pushing it out, by creating a post that looks like a published article. And all I did was took the copy and the imagery that I'd created for my website and I just repurposed it on LinkedIn to look like it was an article on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's sending it out in an email digest to everybody that I'm connected to. Instead of showing up amongst all the other noise in the newsfeed, I'm in the Pulse email for those that subscribe to it. I don't know what the percentage is, but I imagine greater than 50% subscribe to some type of daily LinkedIn digest of, hey, what's going on? I know I get the daily email that says birthdays and, job anniversaries and new job notifications, but I also get a LinkedIn Pulse email that comes with, here's what your influencers are saying, here's what people you're connected to are sharing on LinkedIn, and I'm able to be exposed to that as well. So I wanted to hack into that. I'm hacking LinkedIn essentially. And not only is it showing up there, but it actually shows up on my profile. Now you might have noticed that if you post something to Facebook anywhere on the homepage or your profile, you can go back to your profile and you have a wall of content showing a history of all the things that you've posted before. Sure. If you post something to LinkedIn,
where does it go?
Where do you go back and find it?
I have no idea.
If somebody were to see it in their newsfeed and click the like button or to comment on it, then it shows up in your notifications that they did so, and you can find your content again. If nobody takes any kind of action on it, it's basically lost.
Okay.
You could find it. It's very difficult to do. With creating these types of posts, I'm actually creating a place on my own LinkedIn profile, if you will, that where I can store the content for the future.
So when people come, they connect with you at a networking event or whatever, and they go to your profile and they'll actually see these articles that you've posted, as opposed to maybe a status update or things.
They won't even see a status. If they go to my profile, you won't see a status update from me unless we're connected and you're looking at your newsfeed or your homepage. But if they go look at my profile, they're going to see I have videos there from talks that I've done. I've got SlideShare links very well with LinkedIn because they're owned by them, and so I can post my slides from past talks and they'll show up on my LinkedIn profile. I can post documents, I could post photos, all kinds of stuff. My content, my posts, the links that I'm putting out to valuable information, it's gone. It doesn't show up on my wall, if you will, on my LinkedIn profile unless I'm doing it this particular way. And I was exploring today, just sort of scrolling through LinkedIn and looking at other posts that it's recommending to me or suggesting to me, recommended posts. And some of these people, there was one woman, I don't remember her name, but she's posted 271 of these. And what she has discovered, what I believe she's discovered, is the value of leveraging this type of activity. Now, it's a little bit more work involved, right?
Right. But it's easy to, post a link. It's easy to, hey, look at this kind of thing. But it actually takes a little bit of effort to repurpose your content. Not a lot, but a little bit. A
little bit. If you've already written the article too, then it's easy. If you're sitting down to write it originally on LinkedIn, I wouldn't recommend that. Take the time and actually craft something of value, something you're proud to share. Take the time and do it, because if LinkedIn's going to take the time and send that out to everybody you're connected to through an email and to actually push it into their notifications, I get notifications from people I'm connected to on LinkedIn. Mark Miller has posted a new post. Danny Smith has posted a new post. And these are guys, local guys, real smart guys. They blog all the time. They're proficient writers. They have very valuable information. They're not really salesy. I get a lot out of everything I read from them. But I'm getting a direct notification. They're not even tagging me in it. They're not saying, hey, LinkedIn, send this to Joey. They're just publishing it, and LinkedIn is telling everybody they're connected to. And these are guys, I know Mark Miller personally is connected to 5 figures at least in the number of people that he's connected to on LinkedIn, 12,000, 15,000, something like that.
Right.
So all of those people are getting a notification from LinkedIn that Mark Miller has just published. And if the people that he's connected to on LinkedIn are interested in the kind of content that he's putting out, and I know that they are because he's been very intentional about growing his network, there's tremendous value in that. And then taking the hour or two to actually craft something of value once a week, there's tremendous value in using LinkedIn for that.
So I think the takeaways here from your little experiment, and I mean, it's very genuine. Like I saw it. I mean,
Did you actually read it?
Some of them.
Okay.
Which is funny because I'd have no idea what the articles were. But the point is, it brought Joey McGurr is out there and he's doing something, and it brought your name to top of mind.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of what we're doing, this relationship, this soft selling, relationship building, it's all about bringing your name top of mind, little bits of value to your audience, to your platform, to your tribe. And I can tell you it worked because, I mean, I saw that you're out there, and I love what you said. And, the key here, because we don't want a bunch of junk, because if post junk, I mean, LinkedIn will figure out how to allow you to filter junk out.
Right.
So I like the advice that you're giving. Create a valuable post, create something that's going to be of value that someone would want to read, or at a minimum, certainly not something that's so noisy that people are going to turn off.
Or ignore.
Because
it's so noisy out there right now, and I have spent 5 years contemplating the question, how do I rise above the noise on the social web?
Yeah.
That's why I was lurking, because I'm watching to see who's rising above the noise. And it's Danny Smith, and it's Mark Miller, and it's Elijah May. It's my friends that I'm connected to. Their stuff is popping up, and it's getting my attention. It's colorful, the imagery, the headline, even the content all plays a part. But the fact that I'm even connected to these guys plays even another role. But I'm connected to a lot of people. I have over 1,000 connections on LinkedIn. These guys keep coming back to my mind because they're taking the time to use this to leverage this tool, which is really incredible.
Cool. That was kind of interesting.
It was kind of interesting.
What do you think about our LinkedIn topic?
I think it's great. Are you asking me personally, or are you asking just the Void?
No, I'm asking the Void.
Oh, the Void.
I'm asking the Void.
Hey, Void.
We actually have a Void in here today, but maybe we won't make him talk quite yet. But we have a studio audience here today.
Of one.
Yeah, of one. Obviously, you're on LinkedIn. Are you logged in as Joey McGurr, as McGurr Enterprises, or both?
Well, LinkedIn is a place for people to connect professionally. So I do have a place for McGurr Enterprises, but primarily use it just as Joey McGurr because it's a place for me to connect professionally with other professionals. Anytime you're on LinkedIn, you're you, even if you go to your company page and utilize it as an admin. But yeah, I am on LinkedIn. And everything I do under the brand of Joey McGurr because... that's a space I don't have to create some unique, crazy name like the big man in real estate or the super cool computer guy or whatever. I don't have to do any of that. I could just use my name because the other guys that have my name, all 6 of them, aren't doing anything with it on the web.
Maybe we'll have to do an episode on how to what it means to do some branding, and for those of us that are sort of making their brand themselves. I've got a story about that. We'll save that for another episode, but I'll tell a story of how I lost a client because of my personal brand and some things that I did. Well, I know you can't hear because you don't have the headphones, but we've got the music going on. We've got the outro music going on. So thanks for listening to the Jon and Joe Show. As always, stay connected with us at jonandjoeshow.com. and LinkedIn with Joey McGurr
and Jon Schober.
Jon Schober.
Or is it Jonathan Schober on there?
I think it's Jonathan Schober.
Yeah, so, Jonathan Schober.
Figure it out. Hey, thanks so much. Was that kind of rude to say, hey,
no,
figure it out?
Hey, figure it out.
Figure it out. Well, this is the Jon and Joe Show. We hope that you found this informative, interesting, and entertaining. Thanks so much for listening to the Jon and Joe Show. Goodbye.
Bye.